Got ourselves in a little funky mood to go off to Dubai there, Thomas.
It's very funky.
You dancing a little bit in the background there? I saw you. Yeah, indeed. You got the rhythm, brother, for sure.
No, I do not. If anything, it's the reverse direction.
Yeah, you're so offbeat that you're back on beat, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
For sure.
It's the pits.
So the last time we did Dubai was the Dubai World Cup when Country Grammar upset Life is Good, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, Japanese horse actually ran second. Shima, I forget the name of the horse, but yeah.
Yes, I remember. Country Grammar, Bob Baffert's Revenge.
And that's when we learned that you better look at those Japanese horses. They're much closer than as the Breeders' Cup showed. You better start looking at them because remember earlier in that at the Saudi Cup, the Japanese horses won all 4 turf races. So there's something interesting, and it'll be interesting again with the Dubai as we develop. But we're doing a little kind of different card than that one because there's no real big races, but still decent money. They run for decent money there.
So 2 tracks over there. They have the dirt track.
There's 5. Well, there's 5 race tracks in Dubai. Oh no, is that right? Yeah, 5. And Meydan is, of course, the premier track.
At the Meydan, it looks like there's a turf course and a dirt course. Now, if I remember correctly from the dirt track, was a little bit heavier, so it looked like to me like it favored horses to come off the pace a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the turf course.
Well, there are if the straightaway for like a 6 furlong race is right there is a straightaway race, whereas the more traditionally here, and of course they run in our direction,
except when they run the 6 furlong race, then they run backwards.
And the 6 furlong races run on the straightaway. The Shima Classic being the big race that's down this, but they run They run a variety of types of races, and really, when you look at the fields that they attract, people are coming from all over to race there. And why not train and race when the weather is decent rather than being stuck in this winter around here?
Yeah, for sure. And the money is probably pretty good too. Have you ever been to Dubai? I have not.
I have never been there, no, unfortunately.
Nor have I.
I've never ventured that way. It would be interesting, though, to go to something like this because there's no betting in any Muslim country. So
they just race for the fun of it?
They basically race. Well, there's betting going on. But it's in
a sense, there's betting going on, right? Because the winners get money.
Oh, yeah. But to keep in mind when we're betting on these races, we're betting into the world pool. So that's when you're going to place a bet, most of it's going to be the outsiders looking in rather than insiders, or getting some fix on that. So you can get some prices every once in a while that you're like, I thought that'd be the favorite, and you're scratching your head when it pays $40.
Well, that's the idea, right?
Yeah,
the thing is, we don't really know what the odds are, which makes it even more fun. At least
as you saw there, if in your past performances, there are no odds.
No.
So they'll be set based on the cards that are out there later.
Yes, I have no idea what the odds are.
No, we have no idea.
The information is not quite what we're used to here in the United States, probably in England, and it's even in Australia. But it's definitely a lot to. So it's basically my opinion, at least the way I handled it, was just bare bones handicapping. I looked at recent form, I looked at times, jockeys, trainers, that sort of stuff, and then from there I made my picks. Don't really have a lot of notes other than that this one looks like it's faster than that one, and that's how I went ahead and did my handicapping.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind too is, of course, they, like in England, they have a rating system. So we're looking at the different races that we're looking at. Different, of course, the horse, depending on the rating, is how they get into the race. So we look at races in this country as non-winners of 2 or whatever, and the ratings, we don't really rate. There's no track handicapper giving a rating number to the horse of where they are, in terms of So when we look through these horses, we're going to look at the top number one horse is generally going to be the top rated horse in the race.
All right. So there's not
Doesn't
necessarily
mean the best horse in the race. It just means the top rated.
So, for example, in race number 2, Creek Views by Azizi, and this Azizi guy is involved in every race. I don't quite know who he is, but apparently he's important over there. This is a 1,400-meter race. It's about 7 furlongs. This one we're going to start off with is on the dirt track. So 1,400, if we follow the right arrows, it's going to start like right here. A little bit of a shootout, come around, come all the way back and around and down. Again, from the limited experience I have, it looked like closers were a little bit in favor to me. You were watching some of the races you mentioned today. So how did the track play today?
Mixed bag. But generally there were mid-pack types that seemed to be coming on. Nobody came from way back.
Okay, so you want to have some close to the pace, but quite frankly, it's kind of difficult to tell who does what. All right, so let's start with the race number 2, the Creek Views by Azizi. Should start somewhere around, because we don't even have times like we normally do, somewhere around 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern. So if you're just going to bed out on the West Coast, or you're just getting up on the East Coast, that kind of stuff. How'd you guys do last week with the honk? Yeah, we didn't do that good last week.
Oh, that's not true. I had
Tom may have, but
I had a very nice exacta, and I also played the Quinella in that race. And the Quinella paid $86. And
so Tom did well.
Exacta was significantly more.
Well, I'm glad for you.
That saved me, frankly, because I had one other winner, but that one exacta really put me over the top.
Well, by the time I had gone to bed, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, yeah. We weren't doing that well yet. So it must have happened after we woke up, and then after I went to sleep. And then when I woke up in the morning, I was just like, yeah, all right, I had a crappy day. So I apologize for not looking for Tom. I'm looking out for myself only, which makes me a bad guy.
Oh, I was very happy.
Indeed.
I watched that race, and I'm like, wow. It wasn't my top pick. It was my second 2 picks.
Hey, it doesn't matter.
I had them boxed up, and they went off at 8-1 and 12-1, I think it was. So decent odds.
All right, well, let's get cracking with Creek Views by Azizi. Yeah, man, this Azizi guy. I don't know who he is. Maybe you do, but he's definitely involved in all of these races. This one, as I mentioned, is about 7 furlongs, Tom. So who do you like? And this is the EmiratesRacing.com. In there, you can find this information. I'll link to it over to horseracingtoday.net when I post this information sometime next 24 hours. All right, Tom, who do you like?
I took number 9, Sharara, as my top choice. It has post 5. Its first run at Meydan was okay. It was a first start, ran fourth, and showed some late pace. It broke from the inside. So number 1 post. I think of this a little better draw coming out of 5. This is one that's by Gun Runner, and we know this offspring have been pretty decent. But the dam is a little more interesting because she has 11 foals. 6 of them are winners. But there's one that's a little bit above the rest, and that's Lady Eli. You may have remembered her she was champion turf horse in this country in 2017. So this is a dirt race, but there's some pedigree there. The rest of them have been basically dirt horses, but it is by Gun Runner, so I think dirt is just fine. And that 4th set to me is worth the play.
Yeah.
Number 6, Mr. Raj, coming out of post 2 is my next choice. His one start at Zabeel Ali, and it was a 4-horse field, and ran second. He took the lead at about the 800-meter mark. And he was clear. He got tired and got headed. And okay, it's a maiden. This one could, in my mind, this one could take the lead and maybe not look back. If based on that last race, again here by his sire is Bolta Oro, and his first crop raced last year. His 2-year-olds, and there's one by the name of Instant Coffee who's on the Kentucky Derby Trail. So. They like dirt, and the dam on the other side has produced 5 runners. There 2 of them are winners, but really nothing special. They are changing the jockey to Ray Dawson, and he's generally pretty good. He races in the UK, and then also spends his winters in Dubai, and I don't blame them.
I don't either. Well, aren't summers in England sort of like winters all around the time anyway?
Yeah, well, to get the rain, but last year it was drought, so and warm, and because remember some of the tracks we
got really hard,
fast and firm. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of trainers that weren't running because of that.
I remember they canceled a few because the grass was too slick.
Yeah. My final choice is going to be number 2, Go Soldier Go. It's coming out at post 9. His first run was at Meydan. He ran 1,600 meters. Ran third. He's beaten a little over 7 lengths. The best way to describe the race is it really wasn't competitive with the top 2. He beat everybody else. And that's because the other 2 were just outstanding. It was his first start, so improvement. They switched to jockey. Sires was an okay racehorse, more in the breeding shed, and the dam has not produced much yet. So we don't really know if that's how well. If I had to pick a favorite, I'm really thinking number 6, Mr. Raj, is going to be the favorite in this race.
As you mentioned, we do not have any odds, and information is limited. So
we're using our horse racing crystal ball, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I did. I just went straight times and form, and horses expecting to move up. Obviously, these horses don't have a lot of experience, so I'm just going to go through my rankings. I have number 2, Go Soldier Go, as my top pick. I have number 9. So interestingly, that we have some overlap here to me because last week we had very little. Sharar as my second choice, that gun runner horse. Number 5, I got a feeling, Tom, this one might be your favorite in here because Mr. Precocious has a little bit of experience. And I just feel that experience in some of those official rankings, this one might get some backing. And again, looking at the times, fits right in here. And then finally, the 6-horse, Mr. Raj. So you and I agree on 3 of the horses, which I find interesting considering the limited information. I just basically ranked their times, ranked their form, kind of adjusted them to see which one I thought might move up, which ones I thought might flatten out, and then jockey trainers, that sort of stuff. So yeah. Pretty basic for me. So I would pay a little bit more attention to Tom.
I don't know about that, but I look more at the ones that had just either had a race or 2. And of course there's a first time starter in here too. And just based on the training numbers, look at some of the, because there's one horse, the first time starter, I like the horse based on the breeding, but the trainer has got 4 starts and a third. That's it. So I'm not really overly confident in where he is in the world, so to speak.
Yeah, barn's not warm yet for sure.
Yeah, and even they list the owner's numbers too, which they don't do in this country, and his numbers were not very impressive either.
Yeah, so for me, another thing I looked in the later races, like this one, race number 3, I started looking at the kind of races that they were running in, if they're moving up or down in class, and which way the horses are moving. So race number 3 is Riviera by Azizi. I told you this Azizi character is involved in every single race, whoever Azizi is. And maybe somebody can help us out and let us know who that Azizi is. Is that like the prince or something there?
Well, who knows? But yeah, there's a few dollars in that country.
So it's 1,200 meters, about 6 furlongs. This one's on the turf course. So go ahead and look over here at the turf course. They're going to start right here at 1,600 meters. So they got plenty of room to run down the backside, come into that turn, Tom. The image probably doesn't give us a sense of how tight that turn is. Is it a tight turn, a sweeping turn?
It's more, I would say it's kind of in the middle. It's not like a Belmont track, probably closer to what Santa Anita is, would be my comparison. Belmont to me is a big sweeping turn, whereas Santa Anita tends to be a little tighter.
Okay, so more Santa Anita-esque. All right, so in the Riviera by Azizi, this 6 furlonger, who do you got, my man?
I took number 2, Karen Island is my top choice. He's going to break from post 10. First start after a 10-month break was nothing special. He ran 7th, and the description I love is it said he ran with the back 2. So yeah, not much, but he's run at this distance. He's done average, or could be do better, I should say. But all those races were at higher level than this race. So I'm looking at this as a class drop. He's got 3 wins from 7 starts. And really, the only thing I come up, I think the drop, I think they're positioning him correctly based on his first race. And I'm going to toss the first race and see if they can do a little better here. The only thing I'm concerned about was a 10 post, but there's plenty of time to get position.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Number 11, Invincibly. He's going to be my next choice. Going to break post 12. He's raced twice in Dubai without success, but these starts were on the dirt, which he's done his best running on the turf.
Yes, indeed.
He's got 11 starts on the turf and 2 wins in 5 seconds. His last race in England was a winning effort at 1,600 meters. He got a layoff. He ran on a surface he doesn't like, apparently, because they tried it twice and obviously not big success. And
no quiero, as they say in Spanish.
So I think you got to seriously look at this horse. Finally, I'm going to take number 3, Stunning Beauty, as my final choice. I'm going to break from post 4. This will be a first start in Dubai. He's done okay in England. Hasn't won in a while, but he's done well coming off first ups. He's had 5 starts. He has 2 wins and a placing. So that's pretty good with a first up. Don't think this is the ideal distance for him. So that's why I'm looking into running the money. I don't think I think they're just using this as for something else. And you got to start them sometime. So why not now?
Indeed, I agree with you. So we have one agreement. We both agree on putting Stunning Beauty third. In my rankings, again, just based upon form and what it looks like to me, which way these horses are directed, which direction they look like they're heading in, I'm going to go with Nibras. If you look down here at this horse on the turf, he's certainly on his turf record. Turf here is 3rd of 14. Turf here, 1st of 16. It certainly looks to me 2 efforts on the turf. Certainly looks to me like this horse is interested in running more on the turf. Did run at the Meydan course back in here, and that was at a 70 to 85 type race, so the second highest that it had run on. It really finished 3rd by just 2 1/4 lengths, so really not all that far away from being involved in the winning opportunity there. Next up for me is I have number 7, which is Ayad. This horse here, again, another one to me that looked like it's just better placed on the turf, although this turf race here wasn't very good. But when I look at the times, and again, you had mentioned about the levels, this level was 80 to 105. And this
definitely a different level dropping.
Definitely a different level, correct. And then so when I like plotted out the times, it's times per second. That's why it's here. Pretty simple. Number 9 is number 3, Stunning Beauty, as I mentioned. That's the horse that I have for 3rd as well, just like you. So book that one down for a placing, but probably not a W. But you got the Godolphin horse. I know, Tom, the Godolphin's a good group of folks to own your horse. And then the trainer, Esbin Sarur, I think that's the name on
he's this. I would call him the second trainer for Godolphin. He was the top trainer, and then they hired Charlie Appleby. And all you got to do is look at some Breeder Cup races and Charlie Appleby with William Buick, and you probably know what they've done.
Yes, and there's actually a horse coming up like that momentarily, I think.
You do?
Yeah, I think that's probably the only one that we'll both universally agree on. I think we'll probably agree that horse is going to be a heavy favorite too. And then finally, number 13 is my final choice all the way down here. Dukedom, an Irish horse, 4-year-old, so a youngster on the way up. Ran on the turf 6 times, has a win, 3 seconds, so clearly one that wants to be involved. Ran at the distance 5 times, a win and a 3rd in there, so the horse definitely has done well. But again, just looking at that turf record back here, the last time it broke its maiden on the turf, finishing 1st out of 7. And again, me just putting the times together, looking at the form, this horse, even though it finished 5th here and 5th here, it certainly looks to me like it's a horse that's on the improve, even though there's a little bit of a class drop. So 9, 7, 3, 13 for me in race number 3. We'll head on off now, Thomas, to race number 4, which is another Azizi race.
We're shocked here.
Yes. So this is the Zabeel Trophy presented by Azizi. 1,600 meters On the turf course, approximately, he's saying 8 furlongs over here, but 1,600 meters on the turf course. They're going to start back here, and then they're going to come back and around. So still, again, plenty of room to get yourself well positioned to go into that Santa Anita-esque turn to come down. It looks kind of like a little bit of a longish front stretch there to the finish line, Tom. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
And then tell me who you like for this Zabeel Azizi race.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to pass on number 1.
Yes, this is the one I was referring to.
Yeah, we're going to break from post 1. It's definitely the top-rated horse in this field. Hasn't run since running in Saudi Arabia in a Group 3 level horse, and he lost to a Baffert horse by the name of Pinehurst. He ran 5th in that race. So, races. Well, why you pick them? Well, Charlie Appleby, William Buick's only ride of the evening at Meydan. And I think they're pointing this horse to bigger things. This is definitely going to be interesting. He has won. He's won 3 in a row at Meydan, and I'm 2, I should say, at Meydan, and also one at Epsom. My only concern was, is this an overbet favorite?
Yeah, he's going to be the favorite.
Yeah, there's no question he'll be the favorite. That's my only concern. Is that is you're going to get any kind of a value out of it? I kind of doubt it.
Nope.
Number 6, Perfect Love, both breaking from post 2, is going to be my next choice. Really, since the layoff, it's run twice. It's got 2 third-place finishes, and they were in rated or condition type company races. And these are not at this track. One of the races was on the dirt, and one was on the turf. So, a little versatility, maybe. He ran against the top choice in Saudi Arabia and finished 10th in that race. So, and then he ran some really dull efforts, and they 2 dull efforts, and they laid him off and brought him back, and he's done fine since, or better since, I should say. I think his runs in the past are good enough for him to be in the money. I think it's going to be a tough ask for him to beat the top choice. Finally, I'm going to take number 4, Tamberdurda. I don't know.
That's good. I think you got that one right.
Post 8 it's going to break from. Its first race after layoff was, dull, to say the least. But he's won races, 2nd up and 3rd up. So I always like that kind of a move. But this is an interesting horse because he's been better on all weather. He's got 2 starts and 2 wins. So, but he has won on the turf. He won at Doncaster in a handicap, and that was off a win on the all-weather at Lingfield. Drops a bit in distance from his last race, but he's never run at 1,600 meters. So, kind of hard, but 6 starts and 3 wins. That's okay.
Yeah, all or nothing horse.
Yeah, is he going to be competitive in here? I think so. Do I think he can beat the top one? You get a better price, certainly.
Yeah, that's
for sure. Do it or not, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the heavy favorite. This Sovereign Prince.
I would be very surprised if it isn't.
Yeah, you got Godolphin Appleby, 2 for 2 at the track. I don't think the distance, I don't think the class, any of that is an issue. They're bringing this horse back to get a win, get a good paycheck, and get it geared up maybe for bigger races down the line.
Things, yeah.
Number 8 is my second choice, which is 0 to 100. Got to like that one, right? This is a horse to me that looks like it's getting in better form. It ran in a listed race last time, which is a pretty good, pretty solid. It was a better finish than it might look like. And the interesting thing, too, is a lot of these horses have run against each other. So you can kind of get a sense of who beat who. It's a horse I feel like does better on the turf than it does on the dirt. So you see the turf racing here. Been in the mix. So 0 to 100 is my second choice. My next choice is right inside that, Zaman or Zayman. I'm not quite sure which way you go on that. Another horse that last time out listed on the turf didn't really do that good at all. But today, if you look back right here at a little bit lower class, the horse did run 2nd out of 16. So it's a horse that on the turf horse will give you a good effort. I expect you're going to see it do pretty well. It's been kind of struggling at Dubai, so it's a classic Tom horse win. But give you a shot in the gimmicks, absolutely. And then I agree with you on Perfect Love, that Argentinian horse coming in. Again, a horse that just looks better form on turf than it does on dirt. And if you look 10, 11, 13, 3, 7, the horse certainly looks like it's in better form right now than it was a little bit earlier in the year. And on the turf course, 5 times out, 2 wins and a placing. And also lifetime, the horse has done pretty well too. Likes the distance, 4 times out, 1 win and 2 seconds, 2/3, excuse me. So for me in race 4, 1, 8, 7, and 6. All right, Tom, we're zooming along. Race number 5. Race 1 was what, like a maiden race with all. That's why we didn't do it, I guess.
Yeah, there were 2 maiden races in there. The first and second races were both maiden.
So we would just keep them in order. Reve by Azizi. There you go. He's back again. 1,600 meters on the dirt course. I should mention that the turf is considered firm and the track for dirt is going to be considered fast, but it should be in the desert, right? It probably doesn't rain there very much, I wouldn't suspect.
The bigger thing there is really, like any course, is how much water they put on the course, especially in the turf.
Mm-hmm.
The dirt is a little deeper than track and a little sandier, from what I understand. But they also there's no expense spared at that track.
Yeah.
So keep in mind they hire the best, and the best know how to take care of tracks.
And this one, again, is 1,600 meters on the dirt course. So it's going to start all the way back here. They're going to come down the chute, Tom. And that to me looks like it's a little, I mean, again, it's tough to tell from him, but it looks to me it's like a little bit of a tightish turn. I'd imagine that you probably want to have a little bit of an outside post so you're not taking like a sharp left-hand turn.
Yeah, I wouldn't, I don't want the far outside.
Okay.
But I certainly, I think you do want to get position. And again, that goes with experience and kind of jockey knows how to handle and where to place the horse. Mm-hmm. It's key. And then, has the horse had any experience over the track, at the dirt track, running this kind of distance?
That kind of reminds me of Belmont. I think at a mile and a 16th, they have a similar type start where it comes in on an angle.
That's on the turf.
On the turf. Well,
little different.
A little bit different, but I do remember Jose Ortiz telling us on the Horse Center show. And this is why you got to tune into all those shows, folks, when we have people in, because you get these little insights, and then in a moment like this, it comes back to you because it's similar in terms of layout. What he said is getting that position early, and then that way you're in the good spot. So a little bit of early speed so that you can get to where you want to be before that turn, Jose said, was hugely important. So I would expect that a horse that gets out may not want to go wire to wire, but might want to get out a little bit early to make sure it's where it wants to be on that turn. All right, Thomas, who do you got?
All right, my top choice is going to be number 4, Street Mood from post 6. Since arriving in Dubai, it has 3 starts. It ran second in its first start, and then at 1,200, that was at 1,200 meters, and then he had 2 races at 1,600 meters. It has a win and then an out-of-the-money run. The last race, it ran 6th. The pace was steady, but he broke from post 14. I think 6 is a lot better than 14. He's going to race the same class level. I think with the better draw, I think you're going to get better results. Number 14, a Triple Adventure is going to be my next choice. Going to break from post 13. He won last time out at 1,400 meters in a lower level race. But overall, he's done well in his 3 starts coming off the layoff. And based on that, and then with 7 starts and a win, a second, and 3/3, it's kind of even coming up a little bit. I can't really put him out of the money. I don't like the post, but I do like the jockey, and that's Ray Dawson. And I think that will help its chances. And finally, I'm going to take number 11, Meydan, I guess. Meydan, I don't know.
Meydan, yeah.
Okay. Post 1, I'm going to break from. Has 3 starts since layoff, and they were all the Zabeel Ali course, which is one of the other courses in Dubai, and has a win in 2 seconds. And these were at distances of 1,400 meters and 1,600 meters. His running style is the reason why I put him in. He likes to sit behind the leaders and then make the lead kind of on the turn, maybe a little later. And, he's got 8 starts, 2 wins, a second and a third. And I really think he can beat the rest of the field, even with a little bit of a move up in class based on what I could see there. And I think the inside post with good position and into that first piece should help its chances. But I don't know if it could win.
We have, again, some overlap. I'm going to start off with the 9 horse. A lot of these horses have squared off against each other. I know this one broke its maiden last time out, but I was running through the times, and this one ran 125, which proved to be one of the better times for the distance on the dirt. And if it can improve at all off of that race, and I expect it will in its second real race, third, including the novice race, you might have something with this horse right here. I could be wrong, and I think you'll probably get good odds on that one. Number 11 is Meydan, the one you had just mentioned. Again, looking for horses in form times. If you look at the form, you can see 5th, 4th, 2nd, 1st, 2nd. Horse has been involved in every single race that it was in. And again, if you just look at the time, 125 and 24 at 14 furlongs, 1,400 meters. And again, that 9 horse ran a 125, same exact course, a little bit quicker. So I expect a little bit more out of that 9 horse. Number 13 is my third choice, which is Falsehood. Again, just looking at the times on this horse and the trend. Horse is trending in the right direction. Did win that last race. Did so if you look back here, when it ran on that same course, 139 and 6, finished 10th, way out of the money, and then came back to run on that same course, much faster time. So clearly a horse that's on the improve for me. And then Triple Venture, the one that you mentioned, Tom, 7 times out, lifetime in the money, 5 of them. At the distance 2 times with a second and a third, a horse that should be competitive and fight for a piece of the gimmick money, I think. But I think any one of those 4, this race to me, I think, Tom, is the one where if there's going to be a price that hits, this might be it.
And I thought this is the hardest race that we handicapped personally. I started out with 8 horses, so that I felt had a chance to win.
Yeah, me too. This is the one
it was a bit of a challenge to try to figure it out. That and the surface and a couple of them with distance adjustment changes, and then also what are those winners that are coming out of other races going to do coming into this race? Are they in form enough to suggest that they could handle this field, or are they just more pretenders?
Yeah, it was a tough one for me too, and she really, they're all pretty hard actually.
Yeah. Well, they're not easy ones, maybe except for Sovereign Prince. For me, this was the toughest one.
All right, the final race is Mina by Azizi. He's back yet again. Was he in the first race too? Yeah, he was every race was from Azizi. Got some cash, that guy. So anyway,
apparently.
1,900 meters on the turf course. So let's go back over here to 1,900 meters. You're going to start almost all the way in the back. You have plenty of room to get yourself in position, come around. It's kind of a long race, so I'd expect the closers would do pretty well in this situation, Thomas. I think you'd probably agree with me on that, unless one gets really loose on the lead and can run really reasonable fractions. It seems unlikely in a big field.
I don't see it.
And then who do you see?
I see number 10.
Number 10.
Nude is my top choice.
This name rings a bell. Does this horse come from has he run like in Europe or something?
Not that I'm aware of. No. Post 8 is going to break for him. It has 1 start since its layoff. From the layoff, it finished 3rd by half a length. And it went at the distance of 2,410 meters. It drops to 1,900 here. He's got his 2 starts and a win and a second. He's dropping in class. He's going from a 70-90 race to a 65-80 race. He's done okay. He's won second up, and his overall record is 14 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. And I like his chances. I like the distance change, and I like the little bit of class relief. And I don't think post 8 hurts either. Number 15, Dane Yan, I guess. I don't know. Post 3. Gonna break from. This is the old guy of the field. One of them, 8-year-old, ran third last time out against Similar. He's been running against a little better horses at times, but at this distance, he's got 13 starts, 3 wins, and a third. The reason I like this horse is because it's an interesting pattern. If you look at the other 4 races, it lost by 19 lengths, 12 lengths, 11 lengths, and 17 lengths. And then all of a sudden, it pops for a third.
The good hay.
You think it may be coming into form? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think so.
He's raced 42 times. Has 7 wins, 3 seconds, and 3 thirds. The jockey's going to return for the mount, and since did okay last time, I'm thinking he may do okay again.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I'm going to take number 3, Active Wisdom. Post number 7, going to break from. Ran well in its last race with a third at 2,200 meters. And the big thing there was it ran well at the end. Going to take a slight class drop, but the rating is the same as the last race. So it's got a 78 rating. So it's really not, the horse itself is not getting any huge class relief, just a little bit in who he's facing.
Mm-hmm.
This is another horse, second up. Short had a layoff. I think he can make a nice account of himself in this kind of a race. And based on that, any improvement off that last race, a little shorter distance, I think will help him.
I'm going to start off with number 6, True Accolade. And a lot of these horses did score up against each other recently. So just sort of, you had like overlapping races. This horse last time out against plenty of these did finish 6th, but it is a horse I think that is on the trend up. And, in the back, William Buick ridden horse. So it's got to be a pretty good horse for William Buick to be on this horse all of the time. So I suspect that you're going to see a good record out of True Accolade. Good race, a good effort. Number 3, the one that you were just going over, Active Wisdom, like that one as well. As a horse, as you mentioned. Looks like to me it's getting in form. 7, 8, 5, 7, 3. I expect another good effort here. Hasn't really run that well at Dubai. 0 for 6 at that with a third in there. It's just the trending, the form, and I expect you'll see a continued move higher. Number 10, Canoe, the same horse that you started with. I have him as third. Again, a horse just looking like it's informed to me coming out on the dirt. Ran second on the turf, ran third. I do feel like that the distance will be cut back, and distance is a help for this horse. So we'll see indeed if the distance relief is useful. And then finally, you were number 15. I went to the one right inside that one. Untold Secret. Kind of hard to argue with this guy's record as of late. 3rd, 4th, 2nd, 1st. The horse is definitely in form, but moving up in class. Again, just looking at the times, I felt like this horse fit, and it could be a pretty good price. So in the final race 6, I'm going to go 6, 3, 10, and 14. Thomas, that wraps up our trip to Dubai for the weekend.
It does. And the
Tomorrow,
weather will be a lot nicer there than it is here.
Yeah, that's not really saying though much, right?
No.
That's like saying a Rolls Royce costs more than you
here.
So tomorrow, I'll be back tomorrow with Terry. Hopefully we can stay as hot as we were last night. I don't know if you watched what we did, the Turfway Park live, but man, Terry and I tore it up. Terry hit the early pick 4 for like $670. I got the late pick 4 for almost $1,000. That's for 50 cents. So hopefully Terry and I can carry that over tomorrow to Santa Anita. Next Monday, we'll be back, Terry and I, Parks on Monday and Tuesday. Gulfstream on Wednesday with Charles, and on Thursday, we'll do Aqueduct again. We won't be here next Friday. I'm going to be off to handicapping contest next Friday, see if I can qualify for Las Vegas, and then Tom after that will be off for a little bit. So I'm not quite sure when we're going to return for Foreign Fridays, Thomas. Any sense of when that might be?
I'm hoping the middle of February.
Middle of February, okay.
I got, unfortunately, 2 surgeries, and they're on my eyes, so I don't know my recovery, and so I'm going to be cautious.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. We have a whole 2023 in front of us, and to make sure we'll fill Fridays in with something. We'll probably continue to do some Foreign Fridays, try to get some guests from around the world, whatever tracks we're doing, to see if we can indeed fill in until International 22-1 Tom returns in the middle of February.
Maybe Charles will step up and driving himself crazy.
Yeah, dealing with me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can do all Hong Kong races to really drive yourself crazy.
Drive him, yeah. Let him.
Because one of the races coming up there is, of course, going to be the Stewards Cup. It's in 2 weeks, I think, and that's one of the top races at Shot 10. Yeah, one of those nice sprint race.
Yeah, maybe you can kind of at least fill me in the emails which races I should be looking at. Then Sean and I can go out and get a guest, and we'll bring in Charles for some good laughs.
Yeah, give him some challenges.
Indeed. So you can follow us so you'll know when Tom will be back on the social sites. You see him streaming below. Horse Race, the number 2, and then day. Horse Race 2 Day on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those social sites. Right here on Horse Racing Radar TV. Make sure on YouTube you hit the subscribe, hit the bell, so when we go live, you are notified. If you like what you see on any of the shows, this show, please thumbs up. Please support the show. There's a link in the description below to get yourself some Horse Racing Today gear. Look great at the track. It's always, you want to look great wherever you are, Thomas. And then
Absolutely.
If you're going to bet any college basketball or a Monday night, the big final game for the college football, our friend Picks with the Professor Sides. Again, a link down in the description below. All right, Tom, any final thoughts before we part ways for the next 6 weeks?
Oh, as always, on any kind of track like this, good luck. But it is also nice to see big fields. For me, at least, I prefer having something of a variety. And of course, I think there are going to be 1 or 2 surprises in these races.
Oh, absolutely.
So get sharpen that pencil and get to work.
Well, if you like big fields, man, you got to be loving what's going on in parks because of all those cancellations. They're like European fields.
Yeah. I know. It's the incredible.
Other day. Yeah.
And the track is playing interestingly too, which really...
because they changed the track. So it was funny is I put out a tweet because on the first day back was all get to the front win. The second day, like the first 5 or 6 races, get to the front and win. So I put out a tweet and said, hey, the front's winning again. Hit enter. Every race thereafter, closer. So I single-handedly changed the track bias. So it was a lot of fun.
And you did a good job of it. Yeah, and going back to your last night's thing, anybody who does well at Turfway, I respect. That all-weather track is absolutely maddening sometimes.
Yeah, we kicked some butt there last night. So hopefully you tuned in and watched that. In the 8 races, I picked the winner in 5 of them. And then actually in 2 of the other ones, my second choice was involved in the win. So the last race, I was picking between 2 horses. The first timer won. And there was a long shot that we couldn't figure out how it lost the photo, but it did. That was also my second choice. But in any case, Thomas, I look forward to your return. I hope you have a fantastic, I hope it all goes well and easy for you, easy recovery. And we see you sooner than expected. No matter what, Tom, we hope to see you, your eyes, everything that you do. We're at.
Oh, in the winner's circle for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Again, if you like what you see, thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow with Terry for Santa Anita.